Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I hope you're having a wonderful day. You know what? Let me go do this over here. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you for joining me on today's video. We're going to be talking about faith in Islam. So I will have some verses in the Quran. Thank you for bearing patience with me and my channel and the lack of upload, because I had a sore throat and it's not getting any better right now. But anyway, faith, right? One of the verses here in the Quran is chapter 2, verse number 3, and it says basically, so it's actually two verses. So let's go into this, right? It's chapter 2, verse 2 and 3. It says, "This is the book, there's no doubt about it, a guide for those mindful of Allah, who believe in the unseen, establish prayer, and donate from what we have provided for them." And this verse here, what it really is teaching me is, what is the definition of having faith? Having faith is to believe in the unseen. God himself, the creator of the universe, is not going to come down himself and look you in the face and tell you, I am God and this is all what's happening, this is the future, this is the past. That's not what happens here in life. But we know this is where we have came from a creator, and we have to have faith that this creator is gonna bring us back to him, because we did not come from nothing. We were not just summoned into this universe from cells or atoms or whatever. Like, there's no way that your I mean, if you believe that, that's a different story, but our consciousness definitely did not just spur it up randomly and here we are in existence until we die and we just disappear again, right? Another verse here I have is chapter 4, 122. It says, "And those who believe and do good, we will soon admit them into gardens under which rivers flow, to stay there forever and ever. Allah's promise is always true, and whose word is more truthful than Allah?" This verse was teaching me, basically, it says those who believe and do good. So if you're doing good deeds, but you don't believe in the last day, you don't believe in the reward from God, you don't have the belief part, then it's not going to work out for you the same way as if you are doing the same things, but you also have faith and you have belief in the unseen of the reward from God, which he tells you he will give you. Because in Islam, we say that there's 99 names of Allah, which means God, right? The highest. One of them is the most merciful. So here are some of the 99 names, right? Al-Rahman, which is the beneficent, he who wills goodness and mercy for all his creatures. Ar-Rahim, which is the merciful, he who acts with extreme kindness. Al-Malik, which is the king, the sovereign Lord, the one with complete domination, whose domination is clear from imperfection. What is this? Al-Quddus. Al-Quddus. I'm not even sure what that one is. As-Salam, which is the giver of peace, the infuser of faith, the guardian, the mighty one. There's 99 different names describing who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. And this is important because when we have faith in him, and he is the most merciful, the most gracious, the most appreciative, then when we do a good deed, it's most definitely going to be rewarded many times over. If let's say I'm the most appreciative person on earth, and you simply did such a tiny act for me, if I was the most appreciative, I would do something for you, because to show you that I appreciate you much further. If you gave me a pencil, I'll give you back a pack of pencils one day. Maybe not immediately, because let's say I'm the most appreciative. Let's just say I'm gonna give you back a pack of pencils. You give me a sticky note one day to use in class, I'm gonna give you a whole pack of sticky notes, because I'm the most appreciative. That's who God is to us in Islam. He's the most appreciative. One of the other things I wanted to talk about today was chapter 2 here, and this is verse 286. It says, "Allah does not require any soul more than what it can afford. All good will be for its own benefit, and all evil will be to its own loss." The believers pray, "Our Lord, do not punish us if we forget or make a mistake. Our Lord, do not place a burden on us like the one you placed on those before us. Our Lord, do not burden us with what we cannot bear. Pardon us, forgive us, and have mercy on us. You are our only guardian, so grant us victory over the disbelieving people. But this whole verse is showing that God is literally telling you He's not going to give you challenges. He's not going to give you challenges more than what you can afford. And this might be challenges in your desires. It might be challenges in life. I mean, a lot of times here in the United States, we have a lot of things easy. We have access to a lot of things. It's different for every level. I'm saying for each soul will not have more than what it can afford, right? And He's telling you not to basically despair. Do not lose hope in God's mercy when these times come, because it's up to your level. It's not more than what you can handle, and God is most merciful. So what are you expecting from God? Not to have mercy on you, right? I mean, if that's what you want, then you can probably have that, if that's as God wills. And this next verse relates exactly to this. Chapter 64, verse 11. It says, "No calamity befalls anyone except by Allah's will." So anything that happened to you is in God's plan. So be sure to remember that this is part of God's plan, and it's only for your goodness. And actually, there's another verse I'm going to show you after this. But that basically says, why would Allah punish you if you are faithful? And anyway, I'm gonna get to that verse anyway. So right here it says, 64:11. No calamity befalls anyone except by Allah's will, and whoever has faith in Allah, He will rightly guide their hearts through adversity, and Allah has perfect knowledge of all things. So He's telling you, when you have faith during hard times, during challenging times, Allah will guide your heart through this adversity that you might be feeling. Through whatever adversity you're having, Allah will guide your heart. Let me find this other verse, the one I just said, where why should God punish you? It's two verses in a row. It's chapter number 4, verse 147 and 148. I'll read them in order here. It says, verse 147. Why should Allah punish you if you are grateful and faithful? Allah is ever appreciative, all-knowing. 148. Allah does not like negative thoughts to be voiced, except by those who have been wronged. Allah is all-hearing, all-knowing. So this verse is a rhetorical question. It says, why should Allah punish you if you are grateful and faithful? And then it says, Allah is ever appreciative, all-knowing. So if who created you is, like we said, is the most merciful, the most forgiving, He's the most appreciative, the example I used before, and He's all-knowing of how you truly feel. He's all-knowing. There's nothing He does not know. What you do, or what you say, or what you think, or what you feel, what you imagine. He's all-knowing. And He's the most appreciative. And it's a rhetorical question. He's saying, why should Allah punish you if you are grateful and faithful? And if you're faithful, then you will know that whatever's coming your way, it's all in God's plan. It's nothing more than you can bear. He's the most merciful, the most forgiving. And He's literally saying, why should I punish you? It's telling you that this is not a punishment. Whatever you might be going through is not a punishment. And then the next verse expands on that. It says, Allah does not like negative thoughts to be voiced, except by those who have been wronged. Allah is all-hearing, all-knowing. This verse I'm not a scholar, so please correct me if I'm wrong or anything, but it says, I'm not sure if it means to be voiced, meaning if you have negative thoughts and you start acting upon those thoughts, or maybe you start talking about those thoughts. It says Allah is all-hearing, all-knowing. So I'm not sure if this verse necessarily means to literally voice the thoughts or to put action on it. But if you're voicing it, you're putting action on it. It's kind of both ways. So I'm not really sure. But the whole point is Allah does not like negative thoughts to be voiced. And then He's saying, why should He punish you? So if you really had faith and you're grateful for everything, then everything should be working out in your favor, especially when it's God's plan. There's another verse that this is another verse that also talks about fear and grievance. It's chapter 2, verse number 38. So it says, we said, descend all of you. Then when guidance comes to you from me, whoever follows it, there will be no fear for them, nor will they grieve. So Allah is telling you so many different things. This is all in different chapters, but when you read the whole thing, you'll start to see patterns. You'll start to recognize different verses, how they link together, and they match perfectly. So first, we believe in the unseen, right? We establish prayer. That's verse 2-3, and then later in the book it says it's basically those who believe and they do good, and it says no soul will ever be burdened with more than what it can bear. And it says, why should Allah punish you if you're faithful and grateful? And then it says in another verse, when guidance comes to you, there will be no fear for them, nor will they grieve. There's a helicopter. And then in another verse, like what we said earlier, 64:11, it says, whoever has faith in Allah, He will rightly guide their hearts through adversity. Through adversity is added in English translation, so it says He will guide their hearts, and Allah has perfect knowledge of all things. So when we put all these verses together and we have a full understanding, and this is only a couple verses, we have a full understanding of who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, and we have faith, and we're grateful, and we understand He's the most merciful, and we know that He's not really going to punish us, and it's nothing more than we can bear, then there's nothing that we can't go through, and nothing that we almost can't have, basically, because He is the most powerful. What is there that He cannot give you? Nothing. Because He can give you anything. He can make anything. So yeah, I hope this video here has enhanced you in faith a little bit. The whole point here is basically an Islamic perspective on having faith. My last video was about how faith ties into habits and all these different things, because I'm reading the book right now, Atomic Habits by James Clear, and I will also be posting videos about what I learned from this book as well. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I have a Discord. I just want to I'm starting this community. I would love if you joined. It's in my link tree. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.